How's it, everyone? Welcome to another string review right here on OpenCourt. So today we're taking a look at a string that I've never tried before, and that is the Volkl V-Torque Tour. Let's check it out. So I'm sure most of you by now have heard of the company Volkl. They make many different types of strings. Also, their rackets are pretty popular. Volkl is known for having really uniquely shaped polyester strings. The most famous and most popular is probably their Volkl Cyclone, which is shaped like a gear. Very similar to Babala RPM Blast. The Volkl V-Torque Tour, the selling point of this is that this also has a very unique shape, and if you can take a look at the back of the packaging here, you'll notice that it has a twisted cog shaped design. So this is obviously meant to grab the ball and release it, launch it off your string bed with tremendous amounts of spin. According to the back of the package, it says, like Cyclone and Cyclone Tour, V-Torque Tour is a softer, more expensive material with a vibrantly playing 6-sided twisted cog shaped polyester string. So basically the design of this string is to bite the ball and get more spin. Also, the Tour line, so Cyclone Tour or V-Torque Tour line, anything that says Tour in Volkl will basically be a softer playing version of the original. So Cyclone Tour will be softer than Cyclone. And according to the back of the packaging here, it has a 9 on the power level scale, which means that this string is probably on the softer side. If it's that powerful, it probably is going to be a little bit more comfortable on your arm. So I personally am not a huge fan of Cyclone because it just doesn't have enough enough feel. I like to play with a lot of touch and finesse in my game, and I don't like deader playing polys, and so I'm very curious to see how this performs, whether it has that crisp feel that I like, or if it's going to be on the deader side, which is more suited towards aggressive baseliners who just like to generate their own power and want a dead, muted string that will keep their balls in the baseline. So I strung up the V-Torque Tour in my trusty Pure Strike 98 16/19 edition, and I strung it at 50 in the mains and 48 in the cross. I always do that to try to get a little bit more spin. So I'm hoping that this string will give me that crisp feel and the confidence to be able to aggressively strike the ball and keep the ball inside the lines. So let's get on the court and find out. So getting into the pros of the Volkl V-Torque Tour, the main question I had with this string was, does it get good spin with its aggressively shaped and twisted profile? And thankfully the answer is yes, it does get good spin, especially on the kick serves. I noticed the spin the most on my kick serves, which is usually where I look for help the most with spin, because I'm a little bit on the shorter side. I want to be able to kick the ball up, and I need as much help as I can get. And a string that really bites the ball and gets the ball to kick up is something that I gravitate towards, and the V-Torque Tour definitely had that. When I was playing against my friend who's 6 feet tall, I was regularly getting the kick serve up above his shoulders. I was pushing him out wide in the court, and so I was able to follow my kick serve into the net. It also worked really well on the slice serves. The slice serve stayed low and away. I was able to follow that into the court as well, and it just had good all-around control on the serves in general. Even on the flat serves, it does have a decent amount of power because it is on the softer side. So all 3 serves, I felt that I could take control of the point immediately, but definitely the standout for the V-Torque Tour is that kick. Even my opponents commented that my kick serves were kicking out and wide. They had a hard time attacking or even getting the return back, and so that's what I want to see with a string. Because of its soft nature, it is relatively comfortable, although it's not as soft as the Volkl Cyclone Tour, which was very soft and quite frankly a little bit too trampoliny and springy for my taste. But this string was very firm and comfortable, kind of like the Solinco Outlast that I tried recently, but this string definitely trumps that in the spin, and it does also get a decent amount of power because it is relatively soft. It's also great on the slices, especially that backhand slice when I could knife through it and then approach the net. I could see the slice gliding over the net like a frisbee, and when it bounced, it would bounce to the side, which is what I like to see my slices do. And also I really like the Volkl V-Torque Tour on the short angle ground strokes. I felt confident enough where I could shorten my swing and aim for those corners and the sidelines and be able to use the width of the court, which is what I typically like to do anyway. So in terms of the spin, the V-Torque Tour I definitely feel is better than Cyclone and the Cyclone Tour. It's not quite as soft as Cyclone Tour or as powerful, but the Torque Tour gets a little bit better control and better spin, which is what I like to see from a string anyway. Now getting into the cons of the Volkl V-Torque Tour, the biggest con for me is the tension maintenance, or I shouldn't say tension maintenance because it actually doesn't drop a whole lot of tension, but what I noticed was because of the aggressively shaped string profile, once the coating wore off, which only took a few hours of aggressive hitting, the strings were getting stuck out of place, which doesn't typically happen for me with a polyester. The strings usually snap back, but I was having to straighten the strings pretty much regularly with the Torque Tour, and because of that aggressively shaped profile, the mains wouldn't slide and snap back on the crosses, which led to some erraticness off the string bed. I especially felt this on the return of serve when I like to step in and attack the forehand return especially. I was launching those forehands long and I felt a little bit uncomfortable trying to go for those attack returns. It wasn't so much a problem with the backhand because I have a compact swing with the backhand anyway, but it's not so much the tension maintenance, but really the lack of snapback is what bothered me as the playtest wore on. But apart from that, in my opinion, the V-Torque Tour really has no weakness. It gets great spin, it has good control, it's firm but comfortable, it's not too soft, which a lot of people like soft strings, but I want something that's a little bit firmer so I can have that connection to the ball. I like to be aggressive. The V-Torque Tour lies in that perfect area in terms of stiffness, but as well as comfort. It gets decent power, and the touch is decent as well. I do believe that the V-Torque Tour would make a good main string in a hybrid setup. If you go poly-poly hybrid, I think the Torque Tour would be a good main with paired with a smooth round cross. That way the V-Torque Tour can continue to slide and not get stuck out of place and be able to maintain that high level of spin for a long period of time. So who is the V-Torque Tour for? It's for somebody who obviously is looking for more spin. It's kind of similar to the Y-Tex Quadro Twist in my opinion, although the Quadro Twist, the coating is a little bit more slippery, so if you use a full bed of Quadro Twist, it'll continue to maintain its snapback a little bit better. The V-Torque Tour will not. So I definitely recommend it as a hybrid main. If you're gonna do a poly-poly main, try it with a smooth round cross, maybe something like a Technifiber Ice Code, or maybe you can even go Volkl Cyclone cross because that one is also pretty slick. It could also be a good option for those who want something that's a little bit softer and will give you a little bit more power, but not too soft to the point where you lose confidence in taking aggressive strokes, because this string does get good control, and as long as it's continuing to snap back, you're going to get decent spin and your shots are going to stay inside the lines. So Volkl V-Torque Tour I like more than Cyclone or Cyclone Tour, and it's a string that maybe next time I definitely would want to try as a hybrid main because I think this string gets a lot of spin. I've never seen my kick serve kick so high with any other string, so I'm definitely curious to try it again. So if you guys are curious as well, give it a try. Try it in a hybrid main and let me know how it plays. Thanks for watching this review of the Volkl V-Torque Tour right here on OpenCourt. If you guys like this content and want to see more like it, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an OpenCourt.